Your visor cracks. Not completely, but enough. A thin fracture spreads across the edge of your vision, bending light and distorting distance. Your HUD flickers as your shields collapse to zero, bio readouts spike, and then settle into something cold and clinical. You don't feel pain yet. That comes later, when there's time for it. Right now, all you register is movement, targets, trajectories, angles of fire. You keep shooting, because stopping isn't an option. And in your world, stopping is the fastest way to disappear. You remember cold floors before you remember fear. At 6 years old, barefoot on polished steel, the air always fixed at 19 degrees Celsius, the facility humming with machines that never sleep. No one calls you by your name anymore, only a number. Under UNSC authority, this wasn't called kidnapping. It was called necessity. A replacement was sent home, a perfect copy, while you were absorbed into something that didn't care who you used to be. Days began at 0500, meals measured to the calorie, silence enforced without words. You adapted quickly because adaptation wasn't rewarded. It was expected. As the years passed, advancement came without ceremony. Under Dr. Catherine Halsey, progress was tracked, not praised. At 8, you learned tactics. At 10, close quarters combat. At 12, live fire exercises where mistakes had consequences that couldn't be undone. Promotions weren't victories, they were transitions. Trainee to candidate, candidate to asset. Responsibility increased, but so did the distance between who you were and what you were becoming. By 14, the system revealed itself fully. Official rules existed, but outcomes mattered more. You learned to follow orders precisely while adjusting just enough to survive. Your body became data. Heart rate stabilized at 42 beats per minute. Reaction times below 20 milliseconds. Endurance stretched to 72 hours without rest. Then came augmentation. Procedures with a failure rate high enough to be acknowledged but not high enough to stop. Some didn't wake up. Some did, but broken. You woke up functional. That was enough. You were fitted with the Mjolnir-powered assault armor, a system that didn't feel like equipment but like an extension of your nervous system, heavy, precise, and absolute. Without it, you were enhanced. With it, you were no longer a person, but a deployment. Time stopped behaving like time. Days blended into missions, missions into debriefs. You stopped tracking birthdays, stopped remembering faces, stopped needing anything outside the system. Communication reduced to coordinates and confirmations. Relationships didn't end, they simply never formed. Others tried to hold on to fragments of who they used to be. Small objects, unsent letters, quiet memories. You didn't. You understood early that attachment creates hesitation, and hesitation gets people killed. Sleep came in short intervals, 90 minutes if you were lucky, dreams fractured and meaningless. You woke up ready every time, because readiness wasn't a state, it was permanent. Then the mission goes wrong, like it always does. Intel reports minimal resistance. You count more than double before contact even begins. Your squad moves in formation, precise and efficient, until the first signal disappears from your HUD. No sound, no warning, just absence. Then another, then another. You adjust, because that's what you were built for. But adaptation has limits. When you reach the objective, it isn't a target, it's a decision. Orders come through. Complete the mission. No extraction guaranteed. You calculate outcomes with mechanical clarity. Proceed, and you survive. But civilians inside don't. Hesitate, and the enemy regroups, and everyone dies, including you. There is no right answer, only consequences. You act, not because it's justified, but because it's required. When it's over, the system processes the result. Mission success. Acceptable losses. Numbers replace everything that mattered. You remain listed as active, operational, functional, nothing else. There is no recognition, because recognition would mean acknowledging individuality, and individuality has no place here. Years pass, and the metrics begin to shift. Reaction time slower by a fraction, recovery slightly longer. It's recorded quietly. New candidates arrive, younger, silent, standing on the same cold floors you once stood on, hearing the same mechanical hum. You see yourself in them, not as a memory, but as a pattern repeating. That's when it becomes clear. You were never meant to last, only to function until something newer, faster, more efficient replaces you. Eventually, your deployments stop. Not with an announcement, not with closure, just absence. The system continues without interruption, precise and unchanged. Somewhere, another visor will crack. Another set of bio-readouts will stabilize. Another asset will keep moving forward without hesitation. Because in the system that built you, stopping was never an option, and it never will be.